There is one referee in soccer under whom Lionel Messi has never lost. Not even once. 5 matches, 5 Messi wins, 0 losses, 0 draws. He even officiated during Argentina's 2022 World Cup final. So, of all the refs on the planet, guess who FIFA just handed this England semi-final to? And remember exactly where we are right now. Argentina and FIFA are already buried under a mountain of controversy this tournament, accused game after game of getting every single massive decision to fall their way. Now, for Argentina's biggest game yet, FIFA pulls out the one man who has literally never seen Messi lose a match. It is almost insane that they would make this call. Or maybe, just maybe, it is not insane at all. Because this is starting to look exactly like a governing body that desperately wants Messi in that final. Before a single ball is even kicked in Atlanta, half the world has already decided how this ends. Let us look closer. His name is Ismail El-Faf. He is 44, a 2-time Major League Soccer Referee of the Year, widely respected across North America. And on Wednesday, he will be the man in the middle for England versus Argentina. Here is the record that has set the internet completely on fire. Messi's teams are 5 wins and 0 losses in games Ismail El-Faf has officiated. El-Faf was the 4th official for the 2022 World Cup final when Argentina beat France on penalties. He was the head referee for Messi's very first Inter-Miami trophy during the 2023 Leagues Cup final. He has also taken charge of 3 of Messi's Miami League matches. Add it all up, and you get a totally flawless record for Messi. Never a loss, never even a draw. And now, of all matches, he gets the one where Messi is 90 minutes from another final. But here is a detail that complicates the outrage before we even get going. Look at what El-Faf has actually done this tournament. It hardly screams friend of the favorites. He refereed 3 games already, and one was Norway's shock round of 16 win over Brazil. A massive result where a giant crashed out. He has not been shy with cards either, handing out 6 yellows and a straight red card to Uruguay's Agustin Canobio for a high challenge. A red card Canobio hated so much he confronted El-Faf and grabbed his jersey. This is not the profile of some soft referee gently waving the stars through. If anything, he seems willing to make the tough, unpopular calls. It is worth remembering that as the anger grows, but here is why this is exploding instead of just being a fun bit of trivia. This news did not drop in a vacuum. It hit right during the most suspicious run this World Cup. Argentina reached the semifinal followed by a cloud of controversy. Against Egypt, a brilliant goal was disallowed and a penalty ignored. This led Egypt to file a formal complaint, with their coach Hassam Hassan declaring flatly that the cup is directed toward Argentina. Against Switzerland, a VAR review turned an Argentine yellow into a Swiss red, flipping the entire game. In the group stage, Messi escaped a card for a stamp many called a straight red. Over and over, 50-50s favor the champions. So when FIFA, the same FIFA that suspended a red card after a call from a president, and is currently ignoring a formal complaint accusing them of favoring Argentina, appoints the one referee under whom Messi has literally never lost. People do not see a coincidence. They see a script. The accusation burning across social media is blunt. The fix is in. It was planned from the very start. And this whole tournament is being steered toward a fairy tale Messi farewell final. And honestly, looking strictly at the optics, it is pretty crazy. Just follow the incentives. FIFA is set to bank billions here. And a Messi final is the single most valuable outcome imaginable. The ultimate prize of global television. The FIFA president openly adores Messi, even inviting his club team to the Club World Cup without them qualifying. Stack the money, the affection, the favorable calls, and now a referee with a perfect Messi record. Suddenly, it stops looking like a sport. It looks like a story with the ending already written. That is the perception anyway. And for FIFA, it is an absolute public relations catastrophe. But let me be the adult in the room for a second, because the easy narrative is a lie. And I am not going to sell you a lie. That 5-0 record is correlation, not proof. It falls apart the second you poke at it. A referee simply cannot control who wins a soccer match. Elfeth, being the fourth official at the 2022 final, is completely meaningless because that role does not make a single call on the field. He just manages the benches and holds up the substitution board. And Messi's Inter Miami is a stacked trophy-hoarding powerhouse that wins most weeks regardless of who is refereeing. So Messi winning MLS matches with Elfeth on duty is no conspiracy. It is just good teams winning. Elfeth himself is no shadowy FIFA plant. He came to America as an 18-year-old on a diversity visa lottery, taking up refereeing because he was incredibly frustrated with the officiating and worked his way to the absolute top of his profession. Nothing in his record suggests he is anything but a very good referee. And here is the part that completely destroys the outrage surrounding his selection. A fact almost nobody screaming online seems to know: FIFA could not appoint an English referee for this match. FIFA could not select an Argentine referee for this match either. Their own conflict of interest rules specifically bar officials from either nation from refereeing an England-Argentina match, not just for the standard reasons of nationality, but because of the deep political rivalry rooted in the Falklands conflict. That is why England's Michael Oliver and Anthony Taylor are locked out, which is why Argentina's Facundo Tello is ineligible too. FIFA had to search for a neutral referee from a third country, and the pool of elite, available neutrals this deep into a World Cup is tiny. No matter who they picked, someone was going to dig up a tenuous link and screenshot it. To be absolutely clear, there is zero proof of any wrongdoing here whatsoever. And this conflict of interest rule is not some convenient excuse they made up on the spot either. It is the exact regulation that kept Anthony Taylor from refereeing the 2022 World Cup final between Argentina and France. It also applies to the third place playoff, which is guaranteed to involve one of those two nations. So Oliver, Taylor, and Tello are locked out of that game too. In other words, FIFA's own rulebook systematically strips away the most obvious English and Argentine candidates, forcing the choice onto a shrinking pool of referees from everywhere else. Elfeth, an experienced World Cup ref who has already worked this tournament, is a highly logical choice from that list. The outrage over why they chose him mostly evaporates once you realize how few referees were actually eligible to stand there. So, what is the actual scandal here if it is not a proven fix? The scandal is that FIFA, after the tournament they have put everyone through, was tone deaf enough to throw a referee with this exact baggage into the single most scrutinized, most accusation-primed match of the entire tournament. They had every reason to know how it would look. They knew about the Egypt complaint. They knew about the Argentina memes. They knew half the planet is already convinced the champions are being carried. Yet they still walked a referee with a headline-ready, messy record straight into the eye of that storm. It is not necessarily corruption, but it is a staggering failure of judgment. And it's the same failure we've seen from FIFA all summer. An organization that has stopped caring how things look because it spent months teaching the entire world to assume the absolute worst. And that is the real tragedy of this, because the person it hurts most might be Elfeth himself. Even if he is completely spotless, and even if he referees the game of his life with total fairness, FIFA has engineered a situation where a good official walks out into a stadium in front of a global audience that has already decided he is bent. Every single decision he makes on Wednesday is now radioactive. A soft foul, a yellow card, an offside flag, a penalty. If any of it goes Argentina's way, the internet detonates instantly. Told you so. It is rigged. If England wins, the Argentine side will scream conspiracy. He has been put in an impossible situation, and the actual match will be watched under a cloud of deep suspicion no matter what happens on the field. FIFA did not just appoint a referee. They poisoned their biggest showcase before kickoff and left a good man hanging. But here is what the crowd screaming rigged conveniently forgets. England has more than enough talent to decide this on the pitch and make the drama irrelevant. Jude Bellingham is playing the best soccer of his life. Harry Kane is finding the net. And Argentina, despite some lucky breaks, is an exhausted, flawed team that needed extra time and a miracle just to get here. The odds makers actually favor England as slight favorites for this semifinal, with Argentina rated the least likely of the final four to win the trophy. If England shows up and plays to their potential, they win, regardless of who is refereeing. That said, do not write Argentina off as just lucky, because that is a lazy take too. No matter how you feel about the referee, this squad has a real plan and elite quality. Lionel Scaloni has structured a tight midfield diamond around Leandro Paredes, who is completing more accurate passes than anyone else in the tournament. That system protects a defense that has allowed fewer expected goals than nearly anyone else remaining. Messi is still tied as the top scorer with 8 goals and remains the most creative player here. Plus, with Julian Alvarez and Lautaro Martinez, they have elite game changers who can win a match out of nowhere, just like they did against Switzerland. England must be absolutely stellar to beat them. But being stellar is well within their reach, and that is the ultimate cure for any conspiracy theory. Beat Argentina so convincingly, so decisively, that not a single bad call on the planet could save them. Silence the noise on the pitch. Whether England can pull that off is the real question tonight. And notice that is a question about soccer, not about the man holding the cards. So we head into Wednesday with the most bizarre pregame storyline of the entire tournament. A referee who has never watched Messi lose a match, chosen by a governing body almost nobody trusts anymore, for a massive game that a huge chunk of the world has already written the ending to. Maybe it is nothing, just a coincidence spun as a smoking gun. Maybe it is the most tone-deaf appointment in modern World Cup history. Either way, FIFA made sure that when the whistle blows at 3 Eastern in Atlanta, every single eye in the stadium will be on the man in the middle, just as much as on Messi, Bellingham, and the rest. And in a World Cup semifinal between these two historic rivals, that is a massive shame. Do you think this assignment is a real red flag, or just pure paranoia after a wild tournament? Drop your thoughts below before kickoff, and I will be right back here afterward to break down every single decision, no matter how they go.